If you're craving a slice of delicious Chicago deep dish pizza with a buttery, crunchy crust, ooey gooey cheese, and an explosion of flavor fillings, then you've come to the right place today. Hi, I'm Lori from Fruity with the Freezer, and I'm going to show you step by step how to make this delicious pizza that will leave your taste buds asking for more. And the great thing about this is it freezes and reheats beautifully. So get ready for a pizza experience that will have your taste buds coming back for seconds. Grab your apron and let's get started. Okay, here's what we're going to need for all this, and the exact ingredient amounts are in the description. Let's start with the crust. I like to use a combination of pizza flour and all-purpose flour, but if you want to, you can use all-purpose flour. A little melted butter, semolina or cornmeal. Either one will work. This will help the crust release from the pan well. A little bit of sugar, salt, of course yeast. Pizza sauce. This is my homemade pizza sauce. You've got to try it. It's delicious. Just got this out of my freezer. It's very freezable and it's great for more than just pizza. It is delicious on mozzarella sticks, meatball subs, chicken parm. I have a video at the end of this one. You can link in and see it. Cheese, gotta have cheese. Tons of mozzarella, Parmesan cheese, and then toppings of your choice. I'm making a supreme type today, so I have different meats, some veggies. You'll want some fresh basil and a little shake of Italian seasoning over the top of all that. This is my homemade blend. If you stay tuned, you'll see how to make this. I'll have a link to it. It's very easy to do. You can customize it. You can make your own little homemade sticker to go on it. And some fresh basil. Don't be afraid to make cooking your own, to adjust recipes to make it be the way you like it. So be sure and pick out the toppings you like and make it your own. And this recipe does make 2 pizzas, but if you are only wanting to make one today, I'm going to show you how to freeze that other ball of dough, so stay tuned for that. I've started by putting the dry ingredients into my mixer bowl. I have the dough hook attachment. The flours are in there, yeast, sugar, there's the semolina. And you're going to mix this up just a tiny bit till the flours are combined. And then you're going to add in the warm water and the melted butter. Now make sure that neither one of these is too hot because you don't want to kill the yeast, of course. So you're going to go about 109 to 115 degrees for these. And then you're going to mix it on a low speed until it becomes a soft and supple dough. It should take about 5 minutes. The dough has finished mixing. It is nice and smooth. It's not sticky. It's kind of coming off the dough hook pretty easy. So what you're going to want to do at this point is get a large bowl and coat it lightly with some olive oil. Take your dough and form it into a ball, and then place that ball into your greased bowl. Turn the dough ball over so that all sides are covered with some olive oil. Then cover that whole bowl with a clean kitchen towel, or you could also use plastic wrap, and you're going to let this rise in a warm place until it's doubled. It'll take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. The dough has doubled in size. It looks beautiful. So what we're going to do is you're going to pour it out onto a lightly floured surface. And we're going to roll it into a rectangle about, a 1/4 of an inch to 1/3 of an inch deep or thick. And you can use a rolling pin for this. Once we have it there, which that looks about right, we're going to spread it with some softened butter, 4 tablespoons of butter. And use real butter for this. Pizza is serious business. You can save your calories some other way. This butter is going to help your crust be so flaky and delicious. And here's a little tip. Instead of putting all the butter, like the 4 tablespoons right in the center and trying to work it out, I cut mine into little cubes, and that's going to make it way easier to spread out. Let me get this here. There. Then take a rubber spatula and just start gently working it around. You could also use for this, if you had a offset knife, that would probably work also. I find this rubber spatula is a lot more gentle on the dough. All right, so that's looking good. It's all spread out. Once you have it like that, make sure you get, we want every bit of butter, right? Yum, that's gonna make it so delicious. So once we have it like that, then you're going to take it and you're gonna roll it up like a jelly roll or like a log to make lots of buttery layers in there. Once you have that like that in a nice log, then cut it in half. You could use a pastry cutter like this, or a knife works too. So to make one today, I'm folding that ball back over on itself to make a ball. I'm putting it back in the greased bowl. Cover that with plastic wrap and let that sit in your refrigerator for about an hour. It won't double in size, but it will raise up some, and it'll just have a general puffy look to it. For your remaining dough, you could cook that today, same method, or if you want to freeze it, put it into a ball, wrap it in plastic wrap, and then put it in a Ziploc bag in your freezer. It'll keep for a couple of months. When you're ready to make a pizza out of that frozen piece, remove it from its plastic wrap, put it in a bowl that is lightly covered with olive oil, brush the top of the dough with olive oil, cover it with plastic wrap, and then let it thaw in your refrigerator. I have found it usually takes about 2 days for it to thaw completely. The next step is, after the dough has gotten out of the refrigerator, preheat your oven to 475. And don't skip this step. It's very important that your pizza bakes quickly and hot. If you have a pizza stone, go ahead and put that in there also. That'll help the bottom. We'll put the pan on it, and that will help the bottom be nice and crispy. So we're going to take this dough. We had it in there for an hour. It didn't really rise any, maybe a little bit, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. It ends up a little bit puffy. We are going to roll this into a circle that is as wide as our pan, as deep as our sides, plus about 1 inch. So my pan is 9 inches across, the sides are 2 inches tall, and I want to add another inch, so I will make mine 12 or 13 inches in a circle. And what I love about this OXO pastry sheet is it's got the amounts, the measurements already measured out, which is perfect. You've got several options you could use on a pan. You could use a traditional deep dish pizza pan, of course. You could use a cast iron skillet. You could use a springform pan. I always use a layer cake pan, which works great. Just be sure whatever pan you use that you butter it well ahead of time. My dough is wanting to shrink back a little bit, so I'm going to give it one last good thing. Good roll here. Fold it in half, lift it up, and just ease it into your pan. I have over 50 years of cooking experience. I am happy to share with you what I've learned. So be sure and hit the subscribe button, and you won't miss a single recipe. Completely cover the bottom of your crust with layer of sliced mozzarella. This will keep the ingredients from soaking in the water into the crust and making it soggy. If you end up with some areas like this that aren't covered, you can just trim your cheese in other areas to cover all that. The next thing you're going to do is add your toppings. I went ahead and sauteed up or fried up about 1 pound of Italian sausage. We like this on pizzas. I don't need all this, but I'm gonna go ahead and store it in my freezer, and that way it's ready to go. That's a good thing, a tip to keep. That way your freezer is stocked and you save some time on some things. So next things, I'm going to add pepperoni around here. The great thing about this, you can make it whatever you like. That's the fun of making it yourself. So I've got that in there. Next thing I'm going to do is add some veggies. Now I will tell you I lightly sauteed these, but that's a personal preference. I think it takes out a little bit of the moisture of them, which that's what I prefer. That way it doesn't add moisture into my pizza. Spread that out a little bit. Next, dollop that with about a half a cup of this delicious homemade pizza sauce. Oh my gosh, it's so good. You must try this. It's so good. All right, so that's about a half a cup. Next thing I'm going to do is sprinkle just a tiny bit of fresh basil around on that. Not too much. All right, next thing is a layer of cheese. So important. So this is mozzarella cheese. I grated this myself. I think it just has a better flavor and there's no additives that way. All right, spread that out nicely around. Next thing we're going to add, got that nicely spread out, add the remaining pizza sauce. Spread it out kind of as you go. We'll try to spread it out a bit more here in a minute, kind of like frosting. Okay. Get every delicious drop and then spread it like this all the way around. It's nice and spread out. I'm going to add the last little bits of fresh basil on this. And next comes another layer of cheese. This is Parmesan. Grated this also myself. It's already smelling delicious and it's not even cooked yet. Okay, the final thing is a little shake of Italian seasoning. And like I mentioned earlier, this is my homemade stuff. Just a little bit on there. And then finally, take the edges of your crust and fold them down over onto the top of it, and it is ready to pop into your preheated oven. Doesn't this look delicious? And it smells fabulous. Once the pizza is perfectly cooked, you remove it from the oven and then let it rest for no less than 15 minutes. Don't skip this step. That 15 minutes is going to allow the cheese to firm up some so that everything doesn't run out when you cut it. Once the pizza has cooled for at least 15 minutes, then you're going to remove it from the pan. Use a knife around the edge to make sure it's loosened, and then take a pancake turner and work it out of the pan that way. Or just eat it straight from the pan. That works also. Here's a little tip though on cutting this. Do not use the traditional wheeled pizza cutter. You've got a lot going on here in terms of thickness and toppings. You'll have better luck with a chef's knife. Just cut straight down into it. Remember, leftover deep dish pizza freezes beautifully. Wrap it in foil, then put it in a zip top bag. When you're ready to eat it, thaw it out, reheat it in a 400-degree oven till it's hot. I encourage you to give this recipe a try. It's a lot of fun to make. It's delicious. You'll be so proud of your accomplishments. If you've made deep dish pizza before, let me know in the comments how it went. If you make this one, let me know how it goes, and let me know the toppings that you like. Don't forget to watch my video about pizza sauce and also homemade Italian seasoning. It'll be a game changer for all your Italian dishes. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.